And we are live on the air. Skeeter Green, it's just you and I and 0 viewers. So let's get the.
That's kind of the way it should be.
It's still showing
I
up as
think.
Swords of Jordan, which is weird, but that's okay. I'll make Matt change it.
What?
No, it's not. Anyway.
All right.
right.
Whatever.
Yeah. Hold on.
Nothing but the finest in
That's right. There it is.
ridiculousness.
I see it.
Yeah, we're good.
Make sure the volume's low. And all right. And I got a link.
And I just tweeted this out
Nice.
for whatever reason.
And I will get here.
Hey,
And we have
I
two
am all
viewers.
the
We have
way
two
up-
viewers. Is that you? It's probably you and me.
It's probably the two of us. Yeah. I am all the way up to 42 followers who are not trying to burn me at the stake. It's pretty amazing because that is not how my Twitter page started at all.
All right, and share this, and we'll switch screens here. Live.
All right, switch it.
Hold
Make
on.
it happen.
RPG talk. All right. I got to spell everything right.
Zach is 100% in charge of the tech. I am 100% in charge of nothing. As should be done.
And we have 4 viewers now, so it's not just us.
Oh my God.
All right.
Hello, 2 people. They must have stumbled on the channel accidentally.
I would. Hi, everybody. It's Skeeter and me, and we're going to talk like we do like once a week now about old RPG games. And we get through. I have a problem. My problem is box sets. I buy too many. And Skeeter and I, we have too many things to say about stuff we don't know much about. And we thought, what a perfect situation for us to talk about games we don't really know a lot about, but have a copy of handy. So
I can talk shit about anything at the drop of a hat.
That's correct. He sure can. I can back him up. Hey, just to show off, I want to show your special edition masks. Come on, man.
Oh, okay. So you can see it back here in the background. Special edition masks of Nyarlathotep. Yeah, just came in. It's in ridiculously good shape too.
Awesome.
There's not a blemish on the cover of that book. And also, shout out, I'm wearing my Deadpool 2 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive hat that was acquired by a noble person who went on a quest for me.
Nobility is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to switch over the cameras here. So first, let me turn me off here. And, oops, the real news is here. So there we go.
Well, the real news is that one of our viewers is Big D.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Doug Zildorf. About time. I missed him on Facebook.
No kidding.
So anyway, I dug this out. Why did I dig this out? Because we were too dumb sometimes to remember information on a couple of the box sets we pulled. Because I got a couple today that are they're not usual, and I thought this might be handy. So this will be on the side, but Heroic Worlds is awesome. If anybody sees this later and doesn't know, it is the collector's book for literally. See if we get there. You can see each of the systems.
Does not count as a box set.
No, it does not. But it has there's the Thieves Guild option there, and then here's Science Fantasy. It has them all by system. Lawrence Schick is a hero of mine. This is actually a gift for a friend of mine that Lawrence signed. So
he is a super good dude.
Yeah.
These books are available on Amazon.com right now.
And they're awesome. Okay, so Skeeter Green, roll the dice.
Oh my God. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm going to use the 12-sider, historically not used in many games.
And divided.
That is going to be number 3 today.
Oh boy. Okay, now I got to stack.
Box set number 3.
Hold on. Ready?
You didn't have that at the ready?
No, I have to dig through my pile.
Oh boy.
All right.
That may be a very interesting choice.
Well, it was one of the ones because I used the card deck to pick out the boxes today, and because it's random. North America Invaded, Fantasy Games Unlimited. I believe this was 1986-ish. I can pull up my Heroic Worlds and tell you.
I'm actually trying to look it up.
Fantasy Games Unlimited stuff is it's some of my favorites, regardless of what happened to Jeff D with the Villains and Vigilantes. Um, the guy Scott Bizar, I actually met him a couple times. I love
Yeah.
their old box sets. They did so many of them, and they were all like covered like everything. So let's see here. Freedom Fighters.
Yeah, I can't look it up.
There it is.
I can't find
254. For those of you reading along, it's page 254.
Yeah, if you happen to have that book already,
So
that's amazing.
Freedom Fighters is by J. Andrew Keith and art by his brother, looks like William H. Keith. And it was done in 1986. And that's all it has to say about it.
Well, it's got a super. Oh shit! My brain just shut off.
It looks
completely.
like Predator. Looks like the Predator cover. And if you notice, you see
it looks like
the alien.
Oh yeah.
Because this can be used. What was interesting about this is when I looked at it, when I pulled it from the shelf, is that it can be both a fight the Soviets or fight the aliens or fight the whatever in your campaign. And it's from what I had ascertained is it's not very easy to play. So, but inside we have the Freedom Fighters character book, the Resistance, box 2.
War of the Worlds. That's what I was trying to think of.
Because of the tripod thing. Reminds me of Tom Tullis's game. Of course, my brain just stops when I think of that. The new one.
World War Tesla?
Exactly. And then...
Which I hear is a really good game, but it boggles my mind because Tom Tullis is just a wretch.
Yeah, he is a wretched
He is
person.
horrible. He knows two things, 3D printing and World War Tesla.
Hey, Greg Gillespie's on. Right on. I like that guy. He's Canadian. He's polite. So anyway.
Do we have to talk in metric?
We could.
For our Canadian friends?
We could, but we'd both be wrong. They use different dice. I heard that. No.
Well, Greg is actually really academic about his games and really smart, so he's probably offended by everything we're saying right now because we are gutter trash.
This is absolute truth. Jim Wampler made a point that this game is actually like Red Dawn meets V. It's interesting. I got two copies of the catalog, or maybe 3. No,
why is there a samurai helmet on it?
Because it's Stan Johansson miniatures, man. It came in the box. So that aside,
so Stan Johansson does not immediately bring me to samurai helmet.
Well, hey, man, Johansson-san. Does that help? Anyway, so Errant Knight Gambit looks like the adventure part. All right there. Simple. Got a map. It's well produced for being inexpensive, which all their box sets were, except for now they're expensive for me.
1986. This was perfectly acceptable format and design.
I think it's acceptable now.
I have a ton of stuff from Chaosium that looks almost exactly the same.
It looks like almost exactly the same font as the Player's Handbook too. It looks like good old fashioned.
And that is not at all to imply any kind of trademark or copyright infringement.
No,
in
not
any direction. That was just the style that was back then.
So we have some cards, and we got the Freedom Fighters card, which looks
that's cool.
Yeah, look how many different things you can do. It's like a skill based again, martial arts, mechanic, etc. Not complicated at all. Got a flip side of that card.
So does this use a percentile system, or is this just a put whatever numbers wherever you want them to be? What's the mechanic here?
I think that it uses the percentile dice. And yep, D100 everywhere you look. You can see it.
There you go.
On the tables. And so I found it was interesting is that one of the box sets from Fantasy Games Unlimited, Other Worlds, used the basic fantasy role-playing. I learned that the other day. Anyway, so the book's pretty straightforward. Got a little bit of art.
Not bad.
No, not bad. Yeah, I like the dog being like eating something, dude. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
hey, have you ever been bitten by a dog?
No.
Like a dog that wants to kill you?
I figure you might have been.
It is not at all cool. I got my clothes grabbed by a dog that I'm sure wanted to destroy my soul.
Well, and you better stand in line.
Freaking terrifying.
So anyway, so what this reminded me of, for obvious reasons, is the reminded me of The Price of Freedom by Greg Kostikian, the one that I still laugh about. I think we talked about it
Hmm.
last time. It had the attention liberals in the beginning. This is not to offend you.
Oh, yeah. The
Caveat.
paranoia.
Well, yeah, that's what we talked about. Same author. That's
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
So, Price of Freedom has a little war game simulation part in it. This does not have that, so this is pretty much a straight up role playing game. I got this at the North Texas RPG Con. It wasn't that expensive, but I couldn't turn it down because of the box art. I just thought,
Yeah,
man,
that's great.
that's
Well,
just too much.
it was shrewd of you to get, because I am predicting in the spring of next year that the United States will be under martial law. So if you have this game, you may have a leg up on surviving.
That's right. I mean, if Gen Con's going to be that way, why not the United States? Anyway,
Well, I'm safe. I'm in Washington.
of course. Okay. Roll the dice again and give me a D2, Skater Green.
Right. Oh, a D2. You mean a coin flip? Oh, that
Doug,
would be the first one.
one of our audience, Doug Zildorf, he's been bitten 3 times. My shock
Yeah,
value is
and Greg did point out earlier up in the chat that NASA uses metric, thereby proving I am trash.
well, that's all it took to prove your trash was that? That's nothing.
No, but so funny story from North Texas. The entire time I was at the North Texas Con, I wanted to talk to Greg about game stuff and mega dungeons and have like an actual articulate, intelligent conversation. It never happened.
That's because you were going to be part of it, dude.
I know.
All right, roll me up. D2.
I said one.
Oh, did you? Oh, that
You
makes
better
it easy.
listen to me.
I won't. All right, ready?
I was born ready. I was not born ready for that. Holy cow.
Now, this is actually a pretty rare box set. I bought this one at the auction at GameHoleCon. This is this is considered to be one of the best after Mutant Crawl Classics, post-apocalyptic style game. It's old. I don't know if the box is that old, but the game itself is started like as I think either a novel or some kind of other media in 1974, and then they decided.
I thought it was actually in the late '60s, so that's a bit of knowledge for me.
No, I think that the 60s was the core of the idea, and I think the gameplay includes a lot of 60s things because I'll get to that. Anyway, but Moral Project. This one includes a couple extras that I got from Ian McGarty. I stored in the box. I just remembered. So
my God, are you just now opening it?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Do you have a censored bar on here? Because God only knows what Ian put in it.
No, I know. No. These I stuck in there, so I knew they were okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to pull the shrink wrap or anything off them. But anyway.
Savage.
So, anyways, Liberation of Riverton. These are all some of the modules. And so the Moral Project itself for the box set, which I think was UK only, by the way. Let's see if we get this here. So once again, you have very similar font. You have all kinds of like pictures of like various kind of ordnance.
Wow. Yeah.
Knife and weapons.
No,
this is actually
that is actually pretty damn good representation there.
Some of it's actually art.
Weapons.
Yep. Some of it's actually photographs used as art. So
okay.
You got mutation tables because it's post-apocalyptic. We have different kind of.
I've seen
beasts.
better.
He's in the audience
because I can tell who's watching in the chat.
So anyway, then we have more tables. I think it looks very much like the books we're used to from the same era. It has. Yeah. I'm impressed by. I just love that kind of stuff. More tables. That is actually armor penetration table. But it just says penetration table, and I can't say that anymore because it's what it is.
Ew.
And there's your body location hit table.
Uh-oh.
Right.
There's not a number on your dingly dang, is there?
Hold on. You have to 1.
Oh, okay.
Of course it's 1.
That's the shot to the chips.
Yeah. Well, it could be all the way from the neck down, but anyway. So there's more art to it. That's not as good as the art in the other book right there, but you know what? It fills the white space nicely.
When there is a moose attacking your armored transport, that's a game I need to play.
Oh,
holy shit balls.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Well, now that you say it, I almost want to get that redone so I hang it in my wall.
Hell yeah.
I bet Greg Gillespie has that problem going to work.
Yeah. Moose attack?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, could be.
There's another angry
No.
you can't see in the screen, but there's another angry moose right there at the top.
Oh, well, sure. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a freaking moose gang.
So, anyway, so there's the ordinance and all that stuff again. What I know about it I did read a little bit about it because it was expensive and a little bit rare, is that it's based on
nice.
somebody had planned for an apocalypse, and that plan was all ready to go, and right before the apocalypse was happening, they knew it was going to happen, so they were planning on hiding smart people and all the wise people, and under the project, Moral Project was the name. And what wound up happening was, I know this will shock you, it went wrong, and someone got like either attacked or killed, so not all the project happened, but your players are a group of that were part of the project that weren't destroyed, and they're either special operations or they all have a specialty, and they wake up and you don't know what happened to the other ones, and you're now like 150 years later, and people don't remember the war, but there's a lot of mutated moose out there, and
and they're angry.
And they're angry.
Jesus.
And so, and it has a lot to do with like, for instance, you could have been put into the project, the hibernation in the 60s, and then so therefore you have 60s knowledge of weapons and technology. And you could have gone in, I think, the 70s or 80s as later the books came out, and you had more knowledge of 80s type technology that was with you, which could be up to brick cell phones, probably. So anyway, you have an identification chart of the various vehicles, and you have a letter in the box. I love the kind of letters like this, but this tells you about it.
Those are great.
And then there's the extras you can buy. As you can see, some of those actually showed up on my, I wonder if that's a GM screen. No, anyway, some of them showed up on my list that I got from Ian, which includes the Liberation at Riverton. So this one I really like, and I like it because the box is well made. The idea is cool, and honestly, the Meese did it for me.
I'm not sure what the actual term for multiple moose is. If it's just
Does
moose.
Greg Gillespie know? I bet he does.
You're profiling.
Oh, sorry. So anyway,
he's a professor, so we could just say that's why we're asking him.
That's right. Not because of where he's from. Okay.
Right.
So this one I like. I thought the box cover was interesting and well done. You can't tell obviously on a video, but it has a really nice texture to it. This one,
I like the stripped down look of it. I mean,
do too.
it's very plain, but it grabs you.
Well, it's supposed to look. I'm guessing it's supposed to look like a folder you get at the government for here's your moral project documents, and then it's like tells you about it and confidential across the top.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
The
government gives you folders like that,
and you can tell it was made on the cheap with the box because the box itself has no reverse. Now it may have been shrink wrapped originally and had something on the reverse as a paper, like the old Grenadier miniatures used to be for TSR.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the manila folders when you get a recon package.
I bet that you're right. There you go. Awesome.
That's exactly what it looks like.
And these are actually, when you say these are three of the parts of the Moral Project that I had read about there. Yeah. Okay. The last one is actually a two-parter. You're lucky, Skeeter Green.
Oh boy,
because they were tied together. And this one you may know something about, but the company on the front
is unlikely.
I don't know. I don't know at all.
Oh boy.
RuneQuest. This one, the deluxe edition of RuneQuest, is, I believe, a third edition that was the first time Avalon Hill introduced it.
You're just going to crack out all your Sandy Peterson signed stuff?
That's not Sandy Peterson. That's Steve Perrin.
Oh. Okay. Then I won't.
And the second one I'm gonna show, I'm not gonna open, but it's there. It was the player's box, because when I had it on the shelf right next to it, I thought, well, why would I want to use that one separately to show? Until I realized this deluxe box here looks like it was both the GM box and the player box combined into the deluxe box, so we can just go through this rather than bust the shrink on the other one. So,
oh, that one's in shrink. Yeah. Nice.
So, RuneQuest. what is handy like that? Look at that. What's in this
Hold
box?
on, time out.
Yeah.
I am schooled once again by our chat guests that looks like a military tech manual. So
somebody in the military knew that. Awesome. Hats off.
I
Take your
thank
hat
you,
off to him,
Ruben.
Skeeter. Hats off to him.
I would like to, but my headphones are holding it on my brain.
Yeah. All right. What do we know about RuneQuest, Skeeter? What do you know about RuneQuest?
RuneQuest is one of those box sets that was in that whole flavor of the fantasy system that was was originally used in the same vein as Chaosium. So it's RuneQuest. It's fantasy.
It was used the basic fantasy system. Greg Stafford came up with it, and they released it, I think, originally under the Bear and Moon label. I can't remember the name of the company, but they went through, and the basic fantasy role playing itself came from all of this. What makes this one unique is Avalon Hill, when they decided to get like a further reach and more money to invest to get it out there as a competitor to like Dungeons and Dragons, they dumped Glorantha, and they made it into, they had this option for that, but you also had what they called Fantasy Earth, which I think there's a map in here, and we'll see that in 1 second. But it's basically a way so you could play the Vikings with fantasy, and you could play various other things. They made box sets, like I think I made a Ninja one, where you played in a historical fantasy world of Earth. And that came because they couldn't sell, I think, Glorantha completely. They wouldn't give it all the rights up to Avalon Hill. So, that aside, what's in this box? Well, it's a very lengthy list. Well, what's in that box? Player's book, Magic book, Game Master's book, Creature book, Glorantha book, Player's notes, Game aids, Fantasy Europe map, and the dice, which, of course, are the only thing I am missing.
Well, I don't think anybody's... I have one Call of Cthulhu box set that actually has the original dice in it. That is the only old box set I have that has any dice. Those things just disappeared. So, like they never existed.
There's your basic adventure sheet. RuneQuest, I believe, is one of the first, if not the first, widely used skill-based system.
Yeah.
And so it's just like Call of Cthulhu, correct?
Yes, very similar.
Yeah, basic fantasy, basic role-playing, right? So.
Yep. Hold on, flip back.
Yeah.
I was looking at, the attribute tallies, the magic points and the fatigue points, which are your hit points, basically. That's almost an exact duplicate of Call of Cthulhu. Just the grid system and looking at the whole thing is very similar. So all of that came from the same kind of seed idea.
Right on. And so,
and I could be totally wrong about that, but goddamn, doesn't it sound like a?
Well, you sounded
know what I'm talking about.
I was going to interrupt you. You sound like you had a lot of authority right there. So,
nope.
The player set, you got the maps there, and then here you have the character generation summary. So the quick start. I got players' notes about the world, and it's a nice little thing. It has a sample of play, kind of like my favorite sample of play is still the first edition DMG with that poor gnome that got ate by the ghoul.
Yes.
Because I feel sorry
fuck
for
that guy. He made bad choices.
He did make bad choices. I'm gonna reach in this hole. Anyway.
That is a dungeon axiom. Like, if you go in the water underground, you're gonna die. Never stick your hand in a hole. What's wrong with you?
Well, anyway, we'll leave that hanging in the air. So that's pretty basic there, and there's your character sheet you can actually make copies of, I guess. I love how they have the red on there so that you can't read some of it when you get it copied. Some sample graph paper, just because you need it. They must have needed to make I'm assuming this is 16 pages, so I assume they needed to actually have it to be stable. So the graph paper became how do we fill 16 pages? With a piece of graph paper. Anyway.
Not that any companies have done that.
I'm not naming any names. I'm
not going to say a word.
All right, and then it came with the standard... we have a magazine to sell you. You usually want to be a part of it. Yeah.
James Bond.
It's actually a really nice, on a nice paper, too, the flyer. Avalon Hill must have given a lot of money. So anyway.
It's very shiny.
Here are the game aid section. Now, this is all the tables and charts and various extras that you can make the quick to ship sheet. Oh, there you go. So when you're writing on your voyages, you have all your stuff that... We have a whole book on that at Far God. This is all on one sheet. That's kind of cool. Don't tell anybody. Another adventure sheet, because they're film space here. I guess you could have used these rather than make copies, but and then all the weapon tables and basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
So next,
Looks like it has a good array of weapons too. It's not like one of those games where you have like 4 weapons you can choose from.
you know, we all play D&D and we all use the same 4 weapons, though.
Not necessarily.
All right. I'm close though. There are 500 pole arms and nobody ever uses a pole arm.
Oh, I beg to differ, sir.
Oh, I know. All right, so here's your Fantasy Europe map I was talking about. It's on very nice thick paper. It obviously I can tell you where stuff is because I know where Europe's like. Europe's like right here. There you have the British Isles. Here you have the Vikings.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
So
That's an interesting thing that the Vikings are on a cycle. Just like pirates and ninjas, every few years, that's really the hot thing people want to play, and then it goes away, and then it comes back.
Pirates, ninjas, and Pokemon. All right, so the player's book, which is one of the things that's in the player's box, it's pretty standard like that. It's got actually it looks like 3 colors shading. Got red, got a light red, got a grayscale, and the headers are actually in red. Look at me, I get all excited about silly stuff like that, but that's cool. And
No, it's the nice thing about this is compared to modern layout, this was done, 30 years ago? 30 years ago.
35.
Very, very clean, very usable layout. Now, if one of these days we actually get Chuck on here at the same time to look at some of this, he will be able to point out the differences and, oh my God, this is crazy how they used to do this. Plus, all of this stuff was done by hand. This wasn't done on a lot of computers. This was cut and paste on a lot of this stuff. Maybe not this stuff, but
no, I bet it was.
I mean, it probably was.
Because you look at 1985 was about the first time you could use 84, 85 when the Macintosh came out. You could use at a home. Like 2 or 3 guys could do layout with PageMaker. So, and this has this could have been it, but I don't know. Jim Wampler might know. He's in the audience. That's the kind of thing he knows.
Layout wizard Chuck Wright is in the chat.
So I tell him
pointing out too. So
Chuck or Jim, was this actually done in PageMaker? All on a pasteboard.
Yeah, Chuck said it was on pasteboard.
Well, so thank you, Chuck. That was handy.
Much appreciated.
Magic book.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to say about the Magic book, I do want to say that I do know that RuneQuest Magic is kind of open to any character. Your proficiency has to do with your sorcery skill in the beginning and such like that, but it wasn't you're a Magic user or you're a fighter, kind of like 0 edition D&D. So I always thought that was kind of cool. They have quite a few spells. I know that RuneQuest you could play monsters more often than you could like in D&D. I know the Dungeon Master's Guide for 1st edition D&D was characters want to play a monster, but you should discourage it, blah, blah. They encourage the heck out of it here. So I think that's cool. Then there's magic spells. There's spirit ones, how to learn new spells. There's more art, which I actually kind of like the art. It's not fancy. It reminds me a lot of the stuff in BECMI.
Yeah.
Beckme. So, good stuff. Anyway, so there's just divine spells for your cleric type classes. There's all you got like warding, worship deity, sanctify. That could be your spell, Skeeter.
Certainly not.
Okay.
So it looks like, just from the quick perusal here, that they also go with a magic point system.
Yep, I think is it like spell points? I've never played any of the Chaosium stuff long enough to know. So.
Well, my limited remembrance of all this stuff through the haze of booze and whatnot is, yeah, I mean, it's almost like mana points from Magic. You have a pool and you can cast spells as long as you have points, which is quite a bit more freeform, and it's absolutely not the Vancian Magic system that a lot of people are familiar with. But
my
it's
wife
not
just came
bad.
on. I hate to interrupt you. My wife just came on the chat trying to sell my boxes. This is bad news.
Oh no, I've already been bidding on them.
Oh great,
I'm aware.
I just noticed. Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, I was absolutely outbid, but Bad Mike said buyout, so he's getting the
I
ball
found your
punch.
spell. Create vampire.
Oh, I
That's
thought you were saying create familiar.
Well, that too. No, and then we also have a Game Master's book, which it would be the same things you assume. Would be how do you do combat economics. Standard of living table we could roll, and as an RPG professional Skeeter, you know the standard of living is quite low.
Oh my God.
Prices?
Well, nah,
I know.
not necessarily.
No,
If you're doing game design full time, you are a monk and a saint, and I cannot believe how you do it. If you do it part time, you can be. There are many lawyers we know that have quite comfortable livings that do this on the side. So
crazy lawyers.
Standard of living can be changed. That's not who I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about somebody else.
Oh, okay.
But weirdly, I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, so just the basic GM stuff. And there's a map. I think there's the starting adventure is...
I want to get some tacos.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So we got here. Up. I don't want to spend it. All right, so then the creatures book. And it's going to be like the Marshmallow. I wonder how much art it's got, actually. Ooh. Chuck had mentioned he likes the header font I see in the list, and I'd be honest with you, I like it too. I like the actual the runes on top of the Rune Quest one as well. So there's the various creatures. They look a lot like creature descriptions you'd recognize. They're actually pretty long. Yeah. So you have quite a few stats. Ooh, a duck shaman. Dude, I'm down, dude. Actually, sounds awesome. A duck soldier.
So how well do you know Janelle?
I know her well enough to know I really like her. I think she's really cool. I know she did work for this. She did a lot of adventures, I think.
Yep. She's actually re-releasing a new module involving the duck folk, I believe.
Nice.
For the new version of RuneQuest that's coming out from Chaosium.
Finally,
and I totally hope I did not screw all that up.
That's okay. No one takes you seriously, so that doesn't matter. So
yes, I'm an idiot.
Anyway, so whoa, what's this? My wife's still selling stuff.
Yeah,
the Grantha book, and so this is the result, I believe, of the agreement with Avalon Hill. Was they included both the map for Fantasy Europe, not a map of Glorantha, but they did include the book about Glorantha and all the various histories and etc. There's a map inside there, black and white, as you can see on there. I
very
think
clean, looks good.
One of the things I wanted to mention, only because Matt's got a podcast coming up, or a video cast after this, about player's guides. And this one had the player's book, but also made the player's box set. And so anybody who's interested in player's guides should pay attention. I think it's 8 o'clock Central, but he's going to talk about actually making them. And that might be a lot more interesting to you than the two of us just talking over these. But so those are the three this time. What do you think, Skeeter Green? What's your favorite of those three?
Out of those three, I'm partial to RuneQuest, but Morrow Project really is grabbing me.
Yeah,
I have some interest in checking that out when I get that box from you.
Yeah, good luck. I was so lucky to get this because that's a UK only. So no, I like the Morrow Project interests me the most to try to play. I don't play a lot of science fiction type or futuristic games, but I like post-apocalyptic is my favorite. I have a couple. We'll have plenty of time. The good news is, if we keep doing these, is that there are so many games on my shelf you can't see behind me that we have plenty of post-apocalyptic games to go. But this one is interesting to me. It's really early on. It has the premise is deep. It's well thought out. It doesn't leave it wide open. Like one of the things about Gamma World that's great is you have no idea what actually happened to the world. Or same with Metamorphosis Alpha. It's just lots of crazy stuff happening to you all at once. And I love that stuff, especially in cons. But if you're going to play an actual campaign, I think the Morrow Project would be cool. I would never be able to convince my local guys to do it, but I think it'd be awesome. And finally, the last one we went over before was the Freedom Fighters. And I like that only because Red Dawn is like a disgusting, embarrassing thing that I actually like. I can't help it. I think it's hysterical. It makes me laugh. It reminds me of being young. So, Skeeter Green, we usually do this on Sundays, but Skeeter is traveling, and so am I this Sunday. So sometime late next week, we will do it again. We actually had more viewers this time than last, and so thank you all very, very much.
Fantastic, people. Thanks for spending afternoon with us.
I tell you what, we should have Chuck on here one of these times. We'll pick some ones that are specifically about
think
layout.
so.
I agree. And then we could talk about a little bit about layout, and then we get a real game designer and talk about game design.
Oh shit! I mean, just from the people who are watching in the chat, there are a number of game designers, writers. There's a layout guy. There's artists, I imagine. We could totally have a guest.
No,
a guest speaker on. You would have to put some thought into the box sets, though, because if we're going to take up Chuck's time, it needs to be one that's
valuable.
Cool.
No, I totally agree. But I want to thank you, everybody. This is
Chuck. You are not more than a layout monkey. You're almost just a layout lizard.
that has more skills involved than I do.
Anyway.
Yeah,
like I can talk shit because he can't do anything to me from this distance.
He's my neighbor. I can't. Anyway, so thank you, everybody. If you have anything that you want to say, you can say it in the comments. I just noticed that we had comments in the videos after the fact last night, and I answered a few. If you have any questions or anything, you could tag both Skeeter and I, and we'll be happy to talk about it. But see you next time with 3 crazy ones.
We also have Twitter feeds. Mine's up there on the now I can't see it. And Zach's is at Zach Glazer.
At Zach Glazer. Thank you, everybody. Do not anything my wife sold is not legit. If she takes your money, that's too bad for you. So have a great one, everybody. Great time. Bye.